Welcome back to the Girl Cave. It's that time of the year again. Time for me to reflect on last year and look forward to this year. I want to look back at my goals from last year and look specifically at what worked and what didn't work, and then from there think about the upcoming year and set some new goals for myself. So let me start with the positive. What worked for me last year? The Rascog cart that I bought from IKEA, and I set it up correctly because I had it the previous year, but it wasn't working quite well. Then I redid the organization on that cart, and I'll link the video to that because it has worked beautifully for me. I love it. I use it daily, and I wouldn't change anything about it at this point. It works perfectly for me. What else worked for me? My basket. I will continue with my basket where I deliberately take out some product that I want to use throughout the year and use it up. So we will be talking about that a little bit more. Now, what did not work for me? In previous years, I would buy a new product and immediately put it away, which then created a little bit of guilt because I wasn't using it, and I was like, why am I buying things and not using it? So I thought that if I had a specific container where I could keep the new product that I bring into my room, I would access it and use it. Well, that did not work. Here's said container. I bought this beautiful bin from Michael's, and every time that I would buy something new, I would put it in here. So back here, this is the paper, which I said I wasn't gonna buy any paper, but this is the paper that I bought last year. Not a lot, but there you have it. Then I have some stickers, some chipboard, some embellishments, which I'm glad I bought the embellishments because if you remember, that was something that I struggled with in previous years. I didn't have a lot of newer product. I had a lot of old product, but not a lot of the newer beautiful die cuts and chipboard because I took a break from scrapbooking while I worked on my master's and was raising my boys. And that was the time where all these beautiful things came out. And when I took up scrapbooking again, I was like, wait, what? What are these journaling cards? What is this stickers that I keep hearing about and these beautiful embellishments and die cuts? So I got a few of them, and I think I'm at the point where I don't need any more. So will I try another low spend or spending freeze this year? I haven't decided that. I have not decided. I don't need any more paper. I don't need any more embellishments, but at the same time, I don't want to say that I'm not going to buy anything new because of that FOMO we all suffer from. It's like, what if something beautiful comes along? I mean, what if something gorgeous comes along and I want it? I'm going to buy it. But I think I want to get a better grip of that, and maybe for every 2 items that I use, I will allow to bring in 1 thing or maybe 3. I haven't decided that quite yet. I haven't thought about it. I need to think about that a little bit more because I know that I really don't need product. Last year, I did run out of white cardstock because I used a lot of it as my basis, but I replenished that. I did run out of ATG. I replenished that. This year, I may run out of trimmer blades, but those are things that are necessary to continue with the hobby and with my process of telling the stories and recording the stories for my family. So that doesn't count. But embellishments and paper, I think I'm good. But at the same time, I don't want to say I'm not gonna buy myself anything because I want to be realistic. And if we all stop buying completely everything, then these companies are going to go under and then we won't have anything at all. So I will do my part to keep the economy going. And what else worked? If you remember from my video last year, and I will link that video down below. I watched it this morning because I wanted to see how much I had accomplished and what didn't work for me specifically, because sometimes you forget. One thing that I tell you did not work for me was that big chart that I printed out where I would track all my goals. Like, that was too much work. So I'm not doing that again. I'm gonna keep it a little bit simpler this time. I had 7 goals last year. And of those 7 goals, I would say they worked quite well. So I'm gonna look here. I had a spiritual goal of reading through the Bible. Now, I did not want to read the entire thing in 1 year because I wanted to take my time and enjoy the process and really delve into it. But I did read consistently. I'm reading it in chronological order. Did I read every day? No. But I will continue with that because I really enjoy the process. I learned so much and I really want to continue with that. I had fitness goals, and surprisingly, I did quite well. I think I did really well. I took up walking with my girlfriend Diane, and we were walking 3 miles every day consistently. And then I went back to work, and that was the end of it. But I walk quite a bit at work. Maybe not long distance, but I'm constantly walking around my classroom with my students working, so I hardly sit at work. Now, the true measure of how successful I was with that goal will be determined by my doctor when I see him again. So we'll see how that worked. My goal was to lower my cholesterol and get a grip on the amount of sugar that I consume. I think I did really well with the sugar. The cholesterol, I don't know. I think that's something that I might need medication, but my doctor will let me know. My personal goals, I wanted to read 12 books last year. I read 3, but I read 3, so that's good. My interpersonal goals, I think I bit off more than I could chew. I wanted to reach out to a different person each week, either through a phone call or actual letter. And I think the fact that I said that I was going to do it every single week was just too much. Did I reach out to people, family members and friends last year? Yes, I did. A lot more than I normally do, because I tend to get engrossed in the day-to-day and I forget to reach out to friends and family. And I know that's important. I'm going to continue working on that, but I'm not going to say that I'm going to do it every single week. Maybe once a month. Organizational skills, specifically relating to my house. I will tell you that I was extremely successful in the month of January. I really was. I did that minimalist challenge where you eliminate one thing from your house per day. So on day 1, you take out 1 thing. On day 30, you take out 30 things that you don't need, that are just cluttering your home, and you give it to Goodwill or you give it to a local no-buy group. I did fantastic. That challenge worked for me. But once the 30 days were over, I barely moved anything out of my house after that. So I really want to look into doing that again this year. It's mostly my closet, and yeah, it's just my closet. My closet needs to be really looked into, and all the closets. So it seems like just because they're hidden behind closed doors, that out of sight, out of mind mentality. But I know that there's a lot of things. There's Tupperwares that probably don't have lids. I need to do that. I have clothes that don't fit me or that I don't want to wear anymore. I need to really work on that. And the last category was obviously the scrapbooking and the quilting category. I will tell you that I was not good at all with my quilting. The flamingo quilt is still up on the wall. But with my scrapbooking, I think I did really well, considering that I went back to work, and I will show you a little bit more about that. Okay, so the quilting goals were a failure. I mean, I did make progress, but I did not accomplish what I wanted to, which I wanted to finish that flamingo quilt. It's still hanging on the wall. I just need one more flamingo and to fix one of them. So that should be a fairly easy project to complete this year. I wanted to work on my prayer quilt and finish at least all of the flowers. Again, I made progress, but I did not finish it. What else did I want to do? Oh, I had a mystery quilt that I was working on. Didn't even touch it. So looking back, I think the fact that I had so many goals for myself was crippling. When I look at which goals I was able to complete and be successful with, they were short-term goals, like the 30-day minimalist challenge. So I think for this year, as far as other goals that do not pertain to scrapbooking, I'm just going to, even with my scrapbooking ones, I'm going to have one goal per month, and I'm going to write it down in a little notebook. So for January, I might say that I'm going to just make some dog beds and get rid of the scrap fabric that I have in my room. February, I might say that I'm going to take one album and go through each page and make sure that all the journaling is done, look to see if it needs any finishing touches, things like that, little things. I'm going to focus on one task per month. A friend of mine suggested that I actually write on pieces of paper all the things that I would like to get done and then just put them in a jar and each month pick one out. I might do that. I wanted to look at 2022 as far as my scrapbooking goals. So last year, I had set a goal of 100 layouts and to use up 200 sheets of paper. Look, December, I did nothing. And yes, I still have a week, but to be honest with you, I can't even focus on scrapbooking this this week because my kids are home. I want my focus to be on them and spending time with family, and I only have 2 weeks off from work, and there's a lot to do in those 2 weeks during the holiday break. I mean, there's shopping to be done, there's cooking, I'm just gonna say no to December. I'm gonna call it a washout. So even though I have 94 layouts and I wanted 100, if I made 6 base pages, I could call it even, but I'm not gonna push it. I'm fine with that. I'm good. Sheets of paper, I wanted to use up 200. I ended up using 286 of them, so that I was extremely successful with that. That means that I use an average of 3 sheets of paper per layout, so that's really good. Empties, I used up 82 products completely, and these are products that maybe I have a sheet of stickers that only have like 3 little things left over, and I used them up completely, got that packaging and that out of my inventory list, so I'm happy with that. I created 10 pages from base pages or page kits that I created. Also, for my channel, I had wanted to create 12 videos where I started those layouts using scraps from my scrap bins, and I completed that task, so I'm very happy with that. I used up 10 ATG refills, and I was keeping track of that so that I knew how many I needed to order. So between last year and the year before, I used up the ATG refills that I had purchased, so I replenished that. I'm fine for this year. Trimmer blades, I only used 4. The previous year, I had used 3. So that means that I'm still not doing a good job of changing my trimmer blade as often as I should. But it is what it is. And then I love keeping track of the oldest product that I use in a year. The year before, I used a sticker sheet from 1984, and I used the same thing this year. So I found another sticker sheet, and these from 1984, I will tell you right now, those are Mrs. Grossman's stickers, because she would sell the rolls, the stickers on the roll, and they were from 1984. That's how she started printing out. It was like the heart stickers, the star stickers. So I used them up. Do I have any more of her older product? I don't know. As far as paper, my oldest paper that I used, my oldest sheet of paper was from 2001. And I just love keeping track of that. It's just, I find it challenging. I find it exhilarating. I find it like a little fun detail. So I will continue keeping track of that. My basket, I had 12 items, and of those 12 items, I only have 4 left. So I will share that in a future video. So for 2022, even though I didn't reach the goal of 100 layouts, I am going to try again for 100 layouts this year. And because I exceeded my goal for sheets of paper by quite a bit, I'm gonna try and use up 300 sheets of paper this year. Now, if you look here, once I started working, July, we went on vacation for our anniversary. We went there for 2.5 weeks, so I didn't do much in July. And then once I came back, it was work, 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 work. Did nothing. The previous year, I had a lot more done because I was home. And you know what? That's something that we have to learn to do, is create a life-work balance, right? Not everything can be fun. Sometimes we have to do work, and I'm okay with that. So that is my goal for next year. If you would like a copy of my tracking sheet, you can join the Love RTS group on Facebook or the Crafty Low Spend group, which that group, if you have not joined it and you are struggling with accumulating too many supplies faster than you can use them, and you want to put a hold on that, or at least curb the urge, as we say over there, please join our group. We have an amazing collaboration planned for next year, where we are going to help you work through your stash, what you already own, and look at everything that you have in your inventory. We're going to work on one color at a time. So if you like to organize your supplies by color, this will be the challenge for you. And we're going to do it one color per month. So we are not going to become overwhelmed with the task. We're not going to create a huge mess. We're going to work on it little by little. And in the process, you're going to become reacquainted with what you already have. Look at what it is that you enjoy using, what you don't like anymore, because tastes change and our styles change. Personally, for me, as I go through each section of the rainbow, I'm going to look at all of my papers. I'm going to look at all of my embellishments. I'm even going to look at my scraps in that particular color and determine, do I need to replenish that section of the rainbow? Do I have enough supplies in that color? Do I have way too many? Do I have product that I don't like anymore? I see that I have an immense amount of white paper with black script on it. When I see more beautiful paper in that style, I'm going to remember that I already have like 25 sheets just like that, and I don't need to be purchasing anymore. It's going to be an amazing journey. Okay, so I was rudely interrupted by Mr. Pochi. He likes to roll over on my paper. Mr. Pochi has been gone, living with his dad now in Charleston, but he came to visit for the holidays, and I guess he remembered that how much he loves to roll on my papers. So we're going to ignore the fact that there is a big fat black cat on my stuff, and we're going to continue talking about the collaboration that is coming up next year. So if you would like to join us in this journey as we go through our supplies and really look at what we have and what we don't have, what we use, what we don't use anymore, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And not only hit the subscribe button, but there's going to be a bell that's going to show up when you click on the subscribe. Click on it and select all so that you are notified every time that I post a video, because 2022 is going to be the year that we get a hold of our supplies, and in the process fall in love again with those products that we have hidden somewhere in the corners of our stash, because old product is still just as beautiful as it was when we first purchased it. Come along for the ride, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.